Good morning. Happy coffee talk and happy new year. It's 2023. It's January. It's all the things. And guess what? I'm looking out the window right now and the sky is bright pink. It's like pink, purple, looks like cotton candy. I know what they say. So there's actually like an old sailor's wives' tale, like red in the morning, sailors take warning, and red at night, sailors delight. It means that the weather tends to go bad if there are red skies in the morning. So I don't know if we're getting bad weather or not, but it is gorgeous. It's kind of like frozen out there. All of the grass is like white and crispy and the sky is pink. So happy new year with that outside. Coffee this morning is a kick in the teeth and I love it. It's called like Valhalla coffee. I got it as a gift for Christmas and it's really good, but it is very strong. This coffee would be like a level 10. If you're like working towards black coffee and you're like, I can do a level 3, this is a level 10. This is a full on taste of coffee. And I'm drinking it in the mug that I got also as a gift for Christmas in my bee mug. If you missed the bee killing episode last week, go check it out. I tell you about Bee Killing Club, which again, kind of ashamed about that. Felt a little weird sharing it with you guys, but the point of the episode was really important. And so go listen if you missed that one. I think it's called like, I want to melt crayons on these people or something. I don't know. It's kind of a weird title. Before I jump into the topic for today, I want you to know that in Fit Me, we are going to be doing free games, programs, and challenges pretty much forever from now on. Each month, we're going to have a new one. And the one that we're doing this month is a reset. And so this is a great way. It's absolutely for free. You can sign up for the reset and do it with us. So if you're looking to kind of kickstart your January, you need to reboot a little bit. You want to say no to some of the sugar, the alcohol. You want to get sweating and moving. You want some momentum to do it with people and you want some resources and support. That's what it is. Completely for free, no strings attached. I'll put the link in the show notes, a link in the comments. Do it with us. Do it with me. The reset is something that I wrote a couple of years ago as a way to kind of kickstart without doing all of the shenanigans like cleanses and stuff that really don't work. But how do you kind of scratch that itch of I've overdone it and now I'm ready to get back on track? That's what the reset's for. So jump in and join us. We're going to do it all month. You need to do a minimum of 7 days, but you can do a maximum of the whole month. And I list about 10 different things that you can pick for your reset, and then you get to choose, and you have to pick a minimum of 3. So you can do everything on the list, or you can just pick whatever ones you feel like work for you. And that's another reason that I like this reset is because it's customizable for what's most important for you. So I want to talk about yesterday, because yesterday I went on a hike. And if you know me, you know I like to hike. And I went on, it's called Mailbox Peak. And a couple of months ago, I was actually at a shooting class. So last year I did a bunch of shooting classes to sort of help myself conquer the fear of shooting. It's something that I've wanted to learn how to do, but I was always very intimidated by firearms. And I was like, you know what? How do you deal with intimidation and fear? You educate yourself. And so that's what I did. So I went to a handful of classes. Well, one of the men teaching the class, his wife was also attending the class. And we got to talking. And turns out she is a very experienced hiker and climber. And I was telling her that my dream, one day is to climb Mount Rainier. I would love to do that. That's a big goal for me. And that I enjoy hiking. I love being outside. I love the trees, but I've never really done mountaineering. And I haven't really done the super hard hikes that would prep you for something like climbing Mount Rainier. And so I was telling her about it, and then lo and behold, she has done those things before. And she was telling me she's done Rainier, she's done all these other mountains. And I was like, wow, so what's your piece of advice for how to get started? And so we talked about it a little bit. But then she goes, well, I'll invite you to, some ones that will help you prepare. And so she did. We did one a couple of weeks ago called Snow Lake. And that one was cold for sure, but it wasn't too physically hard. I mean, keeping up with her is hard because she moves. But for me, it was just more like getting used to the cold. That was the hard part. So then she texted me a couple days ago and she was like, on Sunday, on New Year's Day, do you want to do Mailbox Peak? And I didn't know what it was. And I said, yes. Let me make sure I can arrange the children. But if I can do that, then yes. And so I look it up. It's rated hard. I've done hard hikes before. And I knew it was going to be myself, her, and one other person. So I was like, let's do it. I knew I had better gear this time too, because my first time hiking, I learned with her, the cold hiking, that I needed a couple pieces of different gear. So this time I felt like I had the cold gear. So I was like, let's do it. And so we did this hike yesterday. Now it was 4,000 feet of gain in 3.5 miles. I'm not an expert. at what I'm telling you. So I'm just telling you what it is. But if you've ever done a hike where you kind of like move through, flat over some hills, then you go up for a little bit, and then you move flat over some, areas, climb over something up a little bit. That's the hikes that I've done. This was just up. Imagine that there's a mountain and the only way to get up it is just to go straight up it. It's almost like doing 3.5 hours of stairs to get up there, except the stairs were big steps over logs, roots, all of that. And then about 2/3 of the way up, it turns to snow. And then you're doing the exact same thing. You're just going straight up. So there's a new route and an old route. And the old route is the one that is absolutely straight up. And then they made a new route that was easier, that kind of goes back and forth as it goes up the mountain. Well, we did the old route. We did the hard one. And so basically just straight up. I mean, that's exactly what it was. It was climbing for 3.5 hours to get to the top. And the top was, unbelievably epic. If you can go to my Instagram story, I'll put the link below. You can see some of the pictures. I have never seen anything like this because we went so high that we actually went through the clouds. So there was this time that we're going through the clouds, and then we ended up on top of the clouds. And the summit of this, and this is what's up, I think this is my first summit. It was gorgeous because you could see the mountains in the distance, you could see the clouds, you could see the trees. It was just unbelievable. And going down was harder than going up. Going up was physically hard. I was out of breath. I was trying to catch my breath, all that stuff. I was sweating really hard, but I was like, my legs felt pretty good. It was just going up was challenging. Going down was tricky in a different way because if you know anything about my history, I've had 10 knee surgeries. And so all of these knee surgeries make my left leg, it's significantly weaker than my right leg. It doesn't bend quite the same. I've been working really hard at fixing this, but going down is hard. If you have bad knees, down is always hard. And so going down was physically painful. And I did it. We went down at a good pace. I kept up the best that I could and went down. So epic day. My body is very sore today. So my knees, my legs, all of that sore. My feet, my toenails, everything. So worth it. But what I wanted to share, now that I've shared with you this adventure, was that going with her yesterday was about 1 or 2 steps forward outside of my comfort zone. So one, she has done a little bit more than me, and she's done actually a bunch more than me, but she knows what to do. She also moves faster than I move. I don't think I move very fast. So she moves faster than me. The person that she brought moves faster than me, but they both were pretty knowledgeable. And what she chose was a challenge that was doable for me. She probably wouldn't have invited me if she didn't think I could do it, but it was going to be hard. And I think she knew it was going to be hard for me. And she invited me anyway. And it was just the right number of steps forward in my mind, because had she been like, hey, do you want to do, blah, 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 that's really, really hard. Like maybe it had been 13 miles of the same thing. I don't think I could have done it. And I might have not succeeded, which is fine. You can try and fail. But I think what was really cool about yesterday was that I did succeed, but it was very hard. It was both. It was both outside of my comfort zone, more than I've ever done before, challenging in a way that I've never done, but also within my grasp. I could do it. On the way up, I wanted to quit. I didn't quit. I could just keep going and keep doing it. And so my very first day of the new year, I had the opportunity to do something harder than I've done before and push through to achieve it. And you know where this is going, right? Sometimes we set goals, the big goal, the Mount Rainier goal. And we think about it and we're like, I'm going to do all the things. I'm going to get there one day, blah, blah, blah. And we don't do anything about it. But anything that we need to do about it isn't just acquiring information. It's actually pushing yourself a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more each time until you get there. And so yesterday was like a step in that direction. I am a little bit more prepared to do something like Mount Rainier than I was on Saturday. I'm a little bit more prepared. I did something I didn't want to do. My body's physically tired and hurting. I mean, I did want to do it, but in the moment, you know, you don't want to do it. In the moment, you don't feel like you're having fun when you're sweating your butt off and you're frozen or something like that. But what I'm saying is like the Mount Rainier goal is a great goal, but really the more important thing was like the step forward. It was surrounding myself with someone who has done it before, who knew what the next step would be, who challenged me to do it, who walked me through it. Like, although she was ahead of me, she was waiting for me at the top. So she knew I was going to get up there and she was waiting for me there. That's the kind of, you know, friendships, coaches, relationships you want. Do they need to like do everything for you? No. In fact, that's not the thing. And I think sometimes we get a little backwards in that. Oh, I have a goal. I hired somebody, but they're not going to do it for you. They're going to guide you. They're going to set the path. They're going to maybe set the pace. They're going to show you it's possible. And then you get your butt up the mountain. Now, again, like sometimes we pick something that's too hard. Maybe she, you know, she could have gambled and picked something that was too hard. And maybe I would have struggled and been like, hey, I gotta, you know, I'm just not quite ready to do that yet. And that wouldn't have been the end of my goal. It would have been its own valuable learning experience, right? So it's not always succeed, succeed, succeed. However, there was a lot of value in having this sort of mini milestone along the way. The mini milestone being that I did something I hadn't done before, something higher, something harder, and I learned things along the way. I learned things that I'm going to use for next time. And so maybe you set some big New Year's goals. Maybe you set that Mount Rainier goal for yourself. Maybe you want to lose 50 pounds. It's a Mount Rainier goal. It's a big one. And it's for real for you. You want to do it. And you need some mini milestones along the way. You need that first 5 pounds. You need that walk into the gym for the first time, even though it's scary. You need that talk to a coach about your nutrition and actually make some changes. Have some conversations with your family and friends about the things that need to change in your life around your nutrition. Maybe that's super duper outside of your comfort zone and very hard. Maybe that's climbing to the top of Mailbox Peak. That very first big step, you know, towards the big goal. Maybe you're trying to do it alone and it's harder to do alone. Listen, I'm not trying to sell you coaching. If you want coaching, you know where to find it. There's about 75 bazillion people out there who can be your coach. And FitMe is one of them. We can absolutely coach you. But here's the thing. Sometimes people are like, oh, Christy, well, like, how do you do X, Y, and Z? How do you, you know, how did you achieve that? I invest in it. Whether it's my time, whether it's my energy, whether it's the people that I choose to be around, I invest in what I want. And so most of the things that I can do physically, I have invested in a coach to help me do that. Most of the things I have achieved from a physical standpoint around my nutrition, I have invested in a coach to teach me and help me do it. As my profession, my full-time life's work is to coach other people on helping them do the things that they want to do and to create coaches who do that same thing. And so one of the things I 1000% know for sure is when you are working towards a big goal or any goal, having someone who knows how to do it, who can guide you and be alongside you, who can set the pace, who can set the path, who can be there with you when things are hard, who can give you encouragement and advice and be there with you as you reach that summit. That is enormously valuable. Yeah, you can do it on your own, but it's way harder. I would never have picked that hike yesterday on my own. I would not have done it. I also probably wouldn't have known that that was the right next step. I wouldn't have known. And had I done it by myself, it would have just been a lot more challenging because on the way up, I was walking with Eric, is his name. And I said, okay, so, you know, we're about 1.5 miles up. It's 3.5 total. Like, what comes next after this part? Like, is it just trees on the way up? And he's like, no, it's not just trees. Like, when we get past the trees, it's going to turn to snow. We'll have a couple of, you know, ins and outs. And then there's going to be this boulder field. And as you go through the boulder field, and I was like, is that like, are we going to be scrambling, like putting our hands on the boulders? Or are we just like walking through? He's like, no, you don't need to scramble. You can just walk through. It'll be like more steps, but it'll be boulders. And he's like, and then once we get through that, it's going to be all snow, but it'll be clear to the top. And then we can just basically climb the snow mountain, the snow ladder up to the top. And then before you know it, you're right there. And he told me what was to come. So as I was doing it, I had these sort of like, okay, well, we're just getting through the trees now. I start to see the snow. All right, next. Okay, so now we're working through the snow. We put on our, spikes onto our boots. We got our spikes on. We're going to go through that. Now what comes after the spikes? Okay, now we're at the boulder field. Okay, he told me that we're not going to have to scramble, so I'm just going to keep moving, up the boulder we go. And then now we're at this last part, and there's the top. It's not as far away as it looks. He told me it's not as far away, and I just got to keep going. How valuable was that for my own mental headspace as I was going through this goal? And so why would you do it alone? And again, I'm not saying you have to hire a coach, but find somebody who has done the thing that you want to do, somebody who has lost 50 pounds who can do it with you, somebody who has helped someone lose 50 pounds and can guide you and show you how to do it, someone who can give you the path and talk you through it a little bit play by play to help you feel encouraged. This is how you accomplish the big thing. Because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen is, I don't know, 6 months, a year, 18 months from now, I'm going to be standing on the top of Mount Rainier. And it's going to look like Christy Campbell just woke up one day and climbed Mount Rainier. No. There are so many things that were required to work through to get to that one day. And I haven't done those yet. I get a little emotional about it because it feels like such a big goal. It's almost like I don't even know if I can do it. Maybe that's how your goal should feel. That 50-pound goal, you're like, oh, I don't even know if I can get there. But you've set it for yourself. And so now it's okay to just be like, this one's important. I'm moving forward. I'm going to get there. I'm going to find a way to get there. And so how do you find a way? How do you find a way to get there? 1, you choose the next action step. Whatever the next step is, you don't need 17 steps in advance. You need the next action step. So you choose that next action step and then you do it. And if you're not sure what it is, you find out what it is and you do it. Next, you need to find somebody to guide you, whether that's a coach, whether that's a friend, that's an accountability buddy, it's a community, whatever. Put yourself in a place surrounded by people who are working towards the thing that you are working towards in some way, shape, or form. You need that. Stop trying to do it alone. It's the completely hardest way. Why do it the hardest way? If this is important to you, why would you ever do it the hardest, slowest way? If your goal is really to lose 50 pounds, why on earth would you do it the hardest and slowest way? Why would you do it all alone, not investing in yourself, not giving yourself any resources, not giving yourself a plan, not surrounding yourself with people who have done it before? Why would you do it that way if this is important to you? It makes no sense. So that's what you do. And then you focus on the next step and the next step and the next step. And you celebrate the mini milestones along the way. Did I climb Mount Rainier yesterday? No. Was that the biggest hike I've ever done? Yes. Was it the physically hardest? Yes. And was it the highest, the fastest, all that? Yes. So I get to celebrate. What am I celebrating by doing? I am going to celebrate not by eating like a, box of Ben & Jerry's or whatever, a crate or a carton. Don't eat a crate of Ben & Jerry's. Am I eating a carton of Ben & Jerry's? No, that's not how I'm celebrating. You know how I'm going to celebrate? I am going to buy myself a sweat wicking base layer and a sweat wicking like wool blend socks, because that is what I learned yesterday that could have made my journey a little easier, because my clothes were soaked because of my own sweat and my feet were soaked by the end. And so the socks that I had on, although warm, were not the right socks. And so I am celebrating by buying those two things so that the next time that I do a cold hike, I have them. And so celebrate your mini milestones. You don't have to buy something. Maybe just share it and tell somebody about it. Or maybe, again, you reinvest in the next thing. You've gone to 25 classes at the gym. That was one of your mini milestones. So you buy yourself a new gym bag. Yay. You earned it. Onward. You really need to do 300 classes. You just did your first 25. Celebrate. Crushed it. That's how it's done. And so this is my New Year's message for you. Set your big goal. Find your mini milestones. Move through each next action step. Surround yourself with people who can do it with you. Find yourself a coach, a guide, a person. If you need one, that's what we do in Fit Me. That is 100% what we do, is help people achieve those healthy lifestyle goals. If that's what you want, we can help you. If you're looking for something else, just message me anyway. I know about bazillion coaches. So if you're looking for something a little bit different than that, shoot me a message. I'll point you in the right direction. I'll help you find the coach for you, or the community, or the group of people that you might need to help you achieve your goal. So, thanks for plugging into Coffee Talk. If this was a helpful episode for you, do me a huge favor. Screen capture it, share it, and tag me. That's the only way people find out about it. It really means a lot to me if you do that. I really enjoy doing these and talking to you. And if this would be meaningful in someone's life and you share it with them, that makes me so grateful. So thank you so much. If you haven't done so, subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and then join us in the Fit Me Facebook group. Reset is happening all month. You definitely want to be in there. Remember, I'm going to put the Reset link below so you can join us absolutely for free. And reset your January, set those goals, shoot me a message, let me know what your goals are, and I will talk to you guys later. Take care.